the hidden past that connected the ancient world. For decades, historians believed they understood the birth of civilization, small, isolated societies rising independently across the world. Egypt in the Nile Valley, China beside the Yellow River, Mesopotamia between the Tigris and Euphrates. Civilizations separated by impossible distances, brutal deserts, and unforgiving seas. A world divided. DNA in ancient bones that should not exist, Asian metals inside Bronze Age tombs in the Mediterranean. And then, like pieces of a global puzzle falling into place, they revealed something chilling long before writing, a hidden network older than history itself. For centuries, we believed human civilizations rose in isolation. Egypt stood alone beside the Nile. China developed behind its own walls. Mesopotamia flourished between the rivers, while the ancient cultures of India, Europe, and the Americas grew separately, unaware of each other. The story was clean, neat, predictable. New archaeological discoveries reveal a stunning truth. From hidden desert highways to lost sea routes from mysterious artifacts, found thousands of miles from their origin, to genetic clues buried in the bones of forgotten peoples, a picture is emerging, one that rewrites the origins of globalization itself. A network older than history. See, a neat ribbon stretching from east to west. Silk for gold, ceramics for glass, spices for silver. Long before the Han Dynasty ever existed, people across continents were already connected through vast, shadowy networks of exchange. In a grave in Germany, archaeologists found Chinese silk dating back nearly 3,000 years, long before Silk Road was a concept. In Bronze Age, shipwrecks off Turkey, scientists uncovered tin from Central Asia, glass from Mesopotamia, and resin from the Levant, materials that had traveled thousands of miles before ending up together on the ocean floor. And in the frozen sands of the Tarim Basin, mummies with European features lay wrapped in textiles whose weaving techniques can be traced to cultures separated by entire continents. These discoveries raise a chilling question. If civilizations were supposed to be isolated, how did their people and their goods end up in each other's worlds? The answer lies beneath the sands, seas, and mountains. To understand just how ancient these connections are, we must begin in one of the most unlikely places, the barren silence of the Taklamakan Desert in the far west of China. For centuries, nothing was supposed to live here. In the early 20th century, explorers unearthed the mummified remains of a people buried thousands of years ago, long before China's first dynasties. Their bodies were preserved perfectly by the dry desert climate, and their appearance ignited a global mystery. These people were tall, with light hair, high cheekbones, and European features. Their clothing, patterned wool, felt hats, leather boots, matched styles more commonly found in Bronze Age Europe. This wasn't a fringe discovery. Dozens of mummies, hundreds. Their presence in the heart of Asia shattered the old narrative of isolation. How had a seemingly Western population found its way deep into eastern deserts thousands of years ago? The answer, once again, pointed to an earlier Silk Road, a network so old that it predates writing in many regions. These desert people were not anomalies. Movement so ancient that it challenges the very idea of where cultures begin and end. Long before the civilizations of the Iron Age rose to power, Bronze Age societies were quietly creating the basis for global exchange. Tin, in particular, was incredibly rare. Scattered across distant mountains in Central Asia, Afghanistan, the British Isles, and the Arabian Peninsula. Yet bronze tools and weapons appear everywhere. In China, India, Mesopotamia, Egypt, Europe. To make bronze on a global scale, ancient peoples had to trade across impossibly vast distances. A bronze vessel in Mesopotamia uses copper sourced from the Caucasus. In the Indus Valley, a civilization 4,000 years old, archaeologists found materials and motifs that match those in Mesopotamia. Measurement systems that align with astonishing precision. This wasn't imitation. Most people imagine ancient travelers walking across deserts with caravans of camels. But some of humanity's earliest global connections came from the sea. Thousands of years ago, long before the pyramids were built, seafaring cultures began traveling between Africa, Arabia, India, and Southeast Asia. On the coast of Oman, archaeologists discovered Bronze Age harbors filled with pottery from the Indus Valley. In India, shells from the Persian Gulf appear in tombs far inland. In Africa, beads originating from India appear long before modern trade. These weren't simple voyages. They were sophisticated, dangerous journeys across open ocean, and the evidence suggests that the sailors who forged these sea routes were far more advanced than once believed. They understood wind patterns. The ancient world was not limited by its technology. But perhaps the most haunting clue about the ancient global network lies in a civilization few people have ever heard of. The Oxus civilization, also known as the Bactria Margiana Archaeological Complex. Hidden between the mountains of Central Asia and the plains of Iran, this mysterious culture flourished around 4,000 years ago, and then vanished. Its cities contained materials and artifacts from the Middle East, South Asia, and China, seal designs from Mesopotamia, and burial items that connect them culturally to the Indus Valley. This forgotten empire was a crossroads, a hub, and then, for reasons still unknown, it disappeared. The hidden truth. The early world was never isolated. These discoveries, scattered across continents, paint a new and chilling picture of our ancient past. Civilizations did not rise independently. They rose together, connected through trade, migration, marriage, warfare, and exploration. Neither was Egypt or India or the distant cultures of Europe. Ideas crossed mountains. They were created by ordinary people, traders, shepherds, sailors, wanderers, centuries earlier than any textbook dared to suggest. The haunting secret revealed, the climax. Technologies spread faster than once believed. Collapses in one region may have triggered collapse in another. We were connected before we were literate, always reached out. This hidden past didn't just change the world. What makes this revelation so powerful is what it tells us about the people themselves. Those ancient traders who carried tin across mountains, the sailors who crossed the Indian Ocean, the desert people buried in the Tarim Basin is not just an object. They were built by individuals whose names we will never know, but whose actions shaped everything that came after. The echo in the sand. We now see a network. Why does it matter? We have always shaped each other's worlds. The connections were always there. If this journey into the world's forgotten connections moved you, make sure you subscribe for more hidden stories, more ancient secrets, more voices of the past waiting to be heard. Because the ancient world has not finished speaking, and we are only beginning to listen.